Hey there, YouTube. Hope your week is off to a good start. As the title of the video says, I want to talk about a really common mistake that people eat when eating plant-based. And I actually think this is one thing that generally sabotages people, and they end up eventually saying, well, it didn't work for me, and they move on to something else. And that's not eating enough. Most people really do not eat enough, and we'll go a little bit deeper into that because a lot of people, there's caloric eating and there's nutrient eating. You need to meet both of those requirements, regardless of how you're eating. So one thing, plant foods are naturally lower in calories, and they're generally nutrient dense but not calorie dense. So when people start eating this lifestyle, they're just used to, they see a volume of food and they don't really realize that, plants just don't have the same amount of calories that a lot of the processed food and the things that they were eating on a standard American diet, or that was high fat or what have you. So, one thing, and I don't like to give advice. I don't really follow. I've never really counted calories, but I also know the calories of things, and I'm always kind of doing a running total of the day and knowing the calories I'm taking in. So it might really behoove you to learn, just kind of familiarize yourself with calories and servings of the food that you're going to be eating. Another thing, undereating leads to low energy and craving. When your body doesn't get enough food, it goes into search mode. And when our body's in search mode, it starts going toward those cravings and the things that we know we really shouldn't be eating, but that's what happens. And that it doesn't need to be like that. This lifestyle, you can eat. You can eat. I'm never hungry. I'm seriously never hungry. I'm not exaggerating there. I mean, yeah, I'll let myself get hungry. I'm not saying like I'm eating all the time, but as soon as I'm hungry, I go and eat. And that's what you need to be doing. And it just goes back to when you're not eating enough, it eventually makes you think that a plant-based diet isn't working for you. And then you go and say, yeah, this I don't recommend that. That doesn't work. And it all factors back to not taking in enough nutrition, not taking in the things you need, because nothing's going to work. You can only starve yourself for so long. That's why diets, people generally yo-yoed with their weight, because you could restrict, you can do any number of things to lose weight or whatever, but when you restrict, you're not going to stay satisfied, and you can only do that so long. It's like, the tension just kind of keeps building and building until you say, screw it, and then you just eat, whatever is out there. And just kind of goes back to the calories. Fiber is filling. That's why sometimes it can make you feel full, but you're not really full. And let me put that a different way. The fiber is filling, and a lot of times you somewhat feel satisfied, but you need to eat. You still need to eat a little bit more. And I'm not talking about jamming in calories or stuffing yourself when you're full, but that just kind of goes back to what I said. You kind of need to know the amount of calories and things, so you know what you're doing, because fiber will fill up the stomach. Like, have you ever seen one of those little memes or one of those little charts where they show like, this is 500 calories worth of oil, barely makes a dent in your stomach. This is 500 calories worth of the equivalent of something else that's a lot more food dense, but it's generally fat and heavy, and it still doesn't fill your stomach up that much. But then you just have plain fruits and vegetables and healthy stuff, and it fills your stomach, but it's not necessarily a lot of calories. So that's why I say I don't want you to obsess over calories. I don't recommend obsessing over calories, but you do kind of need to know what you're taking in throughout the day. Another thing, undereating is going to slow your metabolism over time. And then when your metabolism slows, if people are already having weight issues, they're not losing weight, and they're like, well, I didn't lose any weight on this. And it's because it just all goes back to all these problems start to come together and spiral when you're not eating enough food. I'll tell you a little story about me, and this was in the very beginning. Like, I lost way too much weight when I first started eating a plant-based diet, just simply because I didn't know. I wasn't purposely restricting. I didn't say, okay, I'm only going to eat this, this, and this. I just didn't really quite put two and two together that, like, a lot of these meals I was eating, there was not a lot of calories in those meals, and consequently I ended up kind of having low blood sugar. Had kind of gotten to a point, about 3 months in, where every time I stood up, I kind of had to brace myself. I'd get lightheaded. So eat, eat, eat. Eating enough helps you stick with it long term because you feel satisfied, nourished, and energetic. And that also goes to a point I want to make here, kind of to finish. Actually, I got a couple more points, but this one, under eating also means undernourishing. Our body requires, a certain amount of calories just to do the functions that it needs to do and to maintain our body weight. But when you're under eating, it doesn't mean you're not getting enough calories. You're not getting enough nutrients. You're not getting all those things, like, you're not getting the zinc, the iron, the calcium, the this, the that, the protein, any of it, because you're not getting enough calories. You have to eat and you have to eat a variety of plant-based food to take in these nutrients throughout the day. Basically what it all boils down to, I'll summarize it for you in a simple little way. It just means eating the right things. When you're eating the right things, you can basically eat unlimited. Go back and, like, any of the meals that I share here, the what I ate today's, the what I eat in a day's, or just like, me sharing different meals. Look at the volume of that food. I eat a lot of food. I'm about to sit down here and eat some lunch in just a little bit. And lunch, I generally always have like 3.5 servings of beans in there, or some sort of legume, maybe lentils. And I eat big every meal, and I eat till I'm full every meal. I don't snack a lot. I just tend to eat my meals. I don't really do a lot of snacking or in between type stuff. Not necessarily because I'm like, oh, that's bad, I'm trying to avoid it. It's just I eat enough to satisfy myself, and I kind of, plan my meals accordingly during the day. So just the takeaway from all of this is learn a little bit more about calories, nutrition, learn some basics about how you're eating, and you have a lot more chance of success on it. I mean, I've been eating this way 13 years now, and I feel great. I never felt better. My digestion is good. I have plenty of energy to go to the gym, do cardio, do resistance, throughout the week. And but it all started really, like I said, I wouldn't say I struggled in the beginning. It was just like, okay, well, how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to kind of keep weight on, And then I just kind of started learning what I was doing, learning how to eat, learning things I needed to eat together, and just kind of came together. But, you got to eat. I think what happens a lot of times, and then I will be finished, because I can relate to back when I used to diet or try to keep my weight down or whatever. I think what people end up doing is they try to compromise. They have things that they won't eat taste-wise that maybe are not the best choices, that maybe do have a lot of calories, or maybe that whatever they feel guilty about. So they restrict in other areas and say, okay, well, if I'm going to eat this, then I'll skip lunch, or I won't eat this, or I won't eat that. So bottom line, you need to eat. Why wouldn't you? And I like to eat. Don't you like to eat? Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and have a great week. And I'll see you here several times throughout the week. Peace.